All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's Wednesday morning. And I'm back to continue this series that I've begun called Decoding. And the series is more or less about decoding how to eat, move, and be healthy, which is a book by Paul Chek. He's the founder of the Chek Institute. I am also certified and licensed with the Chek Institute as a holistic lifestyle coach, as well as a corrective exercise coach. If you're not familiar with the Chek Institute, have a look. They're on the gram and online. If you don't know who Paul Chek is, many consider him to be sort of like the founder of holistic health and functional movement. So good morning. I see you all coming in. Welcome, welcome. So if this is the first time on one of my lives, whether on YouTube or on the gram, I'll tell you why I've started this series. Over the last couple of years, a lot of people have gone through financial hardships. That's number one. Number two, everyone has been getting their information, so to speak, and have become experts, whether it be celebrities or whether it be, I don't know, just Tom, Dick, and Harry out there speaking about what everyone should be doing with regards to health, when they don't really have a lot of sort of education or even intuition insofar as how do we restore health or how do we maintain our health? What is the right thing for us to do? Especially in a time when we saw a lot of medical autonomy being stripped from the everyday citizen, and decisions were no longer our own, which is very questionable. That should make you wonder why everyone was treated as though they should all do the same thing when we have such a thing called as known as rather bio-individuality, making us all unique. The same way we are different on the outside, we are different on the inside. So to suggest that we should all be doing the same thing, whether it be keto, whether it be intermittent fasting, whether it be paleo, whether it be 8 glasses of water a day, whether it be that, is completely absurd. It absolutely makes no sense. So let's get our information where information truly lies. It's in our intuition, our DNA right here. That holds a lot of the information that we need just by virtue of the fact that our ancestors helped us to get here to this point today. We wouldn't be here would it not be for our ancestors, right? So thanks to them, we are here. We made it thus far. So obviously they have a certain amount of wisdom. We should tap into that, number one. Number two, you're going to get your information from educational resources. So not memes or clickbait titles or, sort of fake gurus, if you will, online who, again, don't really have either intuition and are delved into or dialed into sort of their ancestors' way of surviving, and not just surviving, but thriving, or just are kind of winging it because they happen to have had success with the South Beach Miami diet. Just because they did doesn't mean it's right for you, right? So again, going back to sort of educating ourselves, an education form of educating ourselves would be reading books again. So not everyone has access to some of the resources that I have, because again, it has been a difficult couple of years for a lot of people financially. So I want to share the resources that I have with you all so that I empower you, because I want to see you do well for yourselves. I don't get a kickback from any corporation if you're ill. I don't receive any kind of benefit if you're ill. On the contrary, I think we all do better as a planet and as a human race if we are all healthy, or at least working towards restoring our health. So because my business model is to see you succeed, my business model is not when you're sick, you're my client. Unlike some other business sectors, we'll call them the medical industrial complex. I genuinely want to see you achieve your highest version of yourself. So on that note, we have been working now for several weeks, working through the book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. We're currently on chapter 5. And this is part 2 of chapter 5. Now, if you've missed the parts on nutrition, which were really, really quite comprehensive, I think I had to break that up into like 7 parts. It was so comprehensive. I suggest you go back to either my prior lives, either on the gram or on YouTube, in order to catch up to where we're at. And the reason why nutrition was so lengthy is because, well, frankly, Hippocrates said it himself, Funny how the medical industrial complex has forgotten that the person that they refer to as the founding father of medicine said that, food is thy medicine. So he seems to have forgotten, everyone seems to have forgotten that, but food is in fact thy medicine. So you want to come back to having an oversight of the foods that you should be eating for yourself and for your well-being, to nurture your cells, to rejuvenate, to restore, to reset, all the rest of that, to reproduce, yada, 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 right? So that's why that chapter was so comprehensive, which is why, again, why we cannot be oversimplifying things and saying everyone should be doing the same thing when it comes to nutrition. That is simply faulty. Also, if you guys notice I'm a little bit lower today, that's because I'm sitting on a Swiss ball. I decided that it's better for me. Obviously, I know this is a corrective exercise coach, that I shouldn't be sitting on hard surfaces anyways. There's more leeway and bounce. And if you have lower hips that are tight, lower backs that are tight, or if there's any discomfort there, get yourself a Swiss ball. And yeah, that way you're restoring more range of motion and lubrication. All right. So moving, funny that I brought that up on the day that we are talking about exercise and movement, as I choose to sit my bootay on a Swiss ball, which is for the betterment of my spinal health. Oops, what's going on here on the Instagram? Hang on. You know what I noticed is that I had this horizontally, where typically I do this vertically, don't I? That's why I'm seeing so much background. Let's see, let's do this. Oh, sorry guys. All right, let's just restore. I want you all vertical. Nice. Of course. Stand by. All right. Okay, here we are. That makes more sense. I was like, why is there so much background space on the gram there? All right. Okay. So now that we are sorted, so to speak, let's dive right in, shall we? Of course. Now I got to get this tripod situated again. Thank you for your patience. And we are going to get on with it in just a moment, I can assure you. Oh, right. No, but why do you not want to stay upright? Technical difficulties when I'm on the live. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So energizing exercises. So this chapter is kind of broken up into what kind of movement, again, is right for you based on your physiological load, your current health. Exercise doesn't have to be, or training doesn't have to be sort of daunting or overwhelming. It really, really doesn't. You know what I realized, guys? Man, I'm a hot mess today. I didn't mic myself up. Forgive me. I hope that the sound quality is good. If it's not, please let me know. Put something in the comments or just in the comments on either of these platforms. But yeah, so basically you don't need to be overwhelmed, right? Like there's the right exercise at the right time for the right person. Stretching is really the quickest and the most efficient way, as my mentor Carl just reminded me yesterday, of restoring balance to the body. You don't need to be doing resistance or weight training in order to restore length, tension, balance in the body, to restore your pelvis and neutralize it, to lengthen the spine, to lengthen the abdominal wall so that you can hold yourself upright rather than rounding forward. You don't need to be doing weight training for that. Stretching is the most important thing. And so that could be, for a lot of people, unclear, that you don't need to be lifting massive weights in order to be toned. I personally am not currently weightlifting or doing any kind of resistance training, but I'm very toned, and that's actually through my yoga practice, which includes a good amount of stretching, because I love yin yoga, where I hold poses for much, much longer. And then I balance that out with some hatha and flow yoga, which kind of gets me going. And that's kind of how I keep toned. So understanding what it is that you need, and sometimes you need a professional to kind of steer you in that right direction. Should you be doing some resistance training? Again, it will be contingent on what your goals are. And I mentioned this the other day, if you were here on Monday, that if you are, for instance, clinically obese or overweight, you actually really don't need to be doing any weight training. You should stay away from that, because you're already putting your body under so much duress by virtue of you being obese and carrying extra weight. you are in fact already doing a level of weight training and cardiovascular activity. So do yourself a favor, take some yoga classes, yin preferably, or go for long walks, do your stretching, and that would be how you sort of get your body moving. And this is the benefit of working with again, a licensed holistic practitioner who understands this and can steer you in the right direction. So you know what's right for you. Oftentimes, our muscles can either be tight and need stretching, or they can be long and need strengthening. But again, you need somebody who is hello, Ednovet. But you need somebody who can assess your body and tell you where you're at so that you know what muscles need stretching because they're tight and short versus what muscles need strengthening because they're long and weak. That matters. So again, please understand that. All right, so getting into the book. Yeah, so we are actually effectively now we are in chapter 6. To do nothing is sometimes a good remedy. Also, Hippocrates. Funny that I brought him up just a moment ago. He is the founding father, or so they tell us, of medicine, right? So he's told us. He seems to be a wise gentleman, this bloke, yeah, because he has told us that food is thy medicine, which is why the chapter on nutrition had 7 parts, because it is so comprehensive. And Hippocrates also told us that to do nothing is sometimes a good remedy. I back this theory 1000%. The law of least effort, or in Italian, we would say dolce far niente, which translates to the sweetness of doing nothing, right? So Italians, Europeans, for the most part, understand that sometimes being still is the absolute best thing that you can do as far as physical activity, because whatever energy you're not using towards training, you can actually be now recruiting for healing. So there is a time and a place when you should, in fact, be still. Now, we already have a very sedentary lifestyle, so we're sitting a lot. So being still could also just mean like going for a meditative walk, right? Where you're not actually producing anything. You're being a human being, not a human doing. It could be lying in a shavasana for an extended period of time. It could be going into a meditative state by sitting upright, with your spine nice and long, and then just going internally and working on your breath and slowing that down and improving the quality. These are some examples of to do nothing. Tai Chi, Qigong, again, great remedies for doing nothing and then rediverting that energy towards your actual healing. So you don't always want to be using all the energy that you have to either be productive or to even necessarily be in the gym and go to CrossFit or HIIT and expend all of your energy in sort of like a rigorous activity because you think this is the best and quickest way to lose weight, to get strong. It's not necessarily. It can be if you're training to be the next LeBron James or training for the Olympics, certainly. But if you're a lay person, you need a moderate amount of activity for sure, a moderate amount even of weight resistance, especially for women, so that you can offset osteoporosis, right? You need to keep your muscle mass dense in order to offset the osteoporosis. But there needs to be a certain amount of doing nothing. Human being, not human doing. And that's where then you can use the energy that you have or have cultivated to, in fact, reverse dis-ease, reverse ailments, pain, discomfort, and kind of just charge up your batteries once more, rejuvenate yourself. So energizing exercises, again, understanding when you need one versus the other. Energizing would be more yang. Energizing would be sort of more, congruent with sort of the masculine side. Energizing would be, no, you know what, guys? I flipped that around. Forgive me. Energizing would be things that cultivate energy. So more yin, more feminine, breath that's aligned with your movement will help to energize. Whereas also will to bring you into a parasympathetic state. As people that tend to live primarily in our sympathetic state, our central nervous system is being fried in real time. So again, knowing that you don't necessarily need a HIIT class, an Orange Theory class, or a Barry's Boot Camp class, not to, put you off of any of these types of movement, but understanding that for most of us, we're already quite anxious. Our cortisol levels are already too high. So does it make sense then to release more cortisol and create more inflammation and disturbance and disruptance in our bodies, which then leads to breaking down connective tissue, muscles, joints, etc., right? So balance is always the key. So energizing exercises, jumping right in. We live in stressful times. Did I not just say this? I literally was just saying this. We live in stressful times as many of us deal with information overload, long commute, lines, and bills. It's no wonder most people cringe trying to squeeze exercise into their busy schedules. Where many despise the idea of going to the gym either for fear of not knowing what to do there or because they don't feel comfortable working in front of others. These are legitimate concerns. Then there are those who feel like exercise is like folk medicine. The good stuff always tastes bad, and so just take your daily dose, like it or not. Fear not. This is the 21st century, and I am about to share a smarter, not harder method of increasing your energy and vitality. Change can be made in just minutes a day. Energy balancing exercises are about to make all of these anxieties a thing of the past. Building energy and vitality in your body is a lot like investing. Just as it takes money to make money, it takes energy to make energy. As demonstrated throughout this book, your body is a codependent linked system of systems. Just like the heating and air conditioning system in your house or the electrical system in your car, all body systems are energy dependent, even the ones that produce energy. Your circulatory, digestive, hormonal, and musculoskeletal systems are all body systems that not only use energy, they also produce it. Expending energy to inhale brings air into the body. Your lungs take oxygen from the air you breathe and attach it to iron particles in your red blood cells to be delivered to all parts of your body by the heart via arteries. The oxygen in the air you breathe carries a very strong positive charge, acting like a positive pole of a magnet, while your body tissues and the water in your body, which is about 75% of your body, is made up of water, act like the negative poles of a magnet. As you may remember from science class, wherever you find a positive and a negative pole, there's energy and work potential. Breathing oxygen into the body creates energy or work potential. This energy is called prana by East Indian yogis and mystics, or chi by the masters of Tai Chi, Qigong, and many martial arts. Freshly oxygenated blood goes from your lungs to the heart, where two important things happen. First, the heart acts like a powerful generator, producing an electromagnetic field approximately 5 times stronger than your brain. The heart's electromagnetic field is so powerful that it not only permeates every cell in your body, it could also be measured about 8 to 10 feet away by sensitive detectors called magnetic meters. Research scientists at the Institute of Heart Math have demonstrated that the powerful electromagnetic field of the heart is used to send information to the brain. Acting like a pump, the heart performs a second, very important function, delivering the added charge to your body cells and system. This form of energy informs your brain and each of your cells about your heart state, i.e., whether it's happy, sad, excited, depressed, etc., and serves as a form of energy that cells use to perform vital functions. When you eat quality food, and we just covered 7 parts, right? Is it 7 parts or 6 parts on nutrition? So please go back and review that if you missed it. When you eat quality food, you spend energy to chew it and digest it. Metabolized food molecules provide both chemical and electrical charges that help the body perform work, such as building hormones. The hormonal system is composed of special glands. Each hormonal gland uses energy from breathing and the building blocks from digestion to produce specific hormones which carry out important functions. The thyroid gland, for example, produces the thyroid hormone, which regulates cellular metabolism. The adrenal glands produce adrenal and cortisol, the stress and activating hormone, which assist your body in getting work done. Much of the energy produced by breathing and eating is used to run your muscles so you can move, have fun, and produce more energy. The method by which your muscles produce energy is seldom considered because most people only associate muscle work with fatigue or loss of energy. Fatigue and loss of energy result from excess use of the muscles and the body systems that support activity, particularly when there is an imbalance between the amount of work or exercise relative to the amount of rest. This is why I was saying to you it's important to understand and understand what type of movement you need. Not everyone needs to be lifting weights. Not everyone needs to be running track and field. It really does depend on so many factors, including physiological load, your current state of health, whether you've recently had surgery, if you're on medication, et cetera, your nutritional content, whether you're eating well for your metabolic or primal type, et cetera, right? And as well as your goals. Pause as she takes a sip of her hot cocoa. This morning, I was really in the mood for a hot chocolate, so I've made myself a hot chocolate with some almond butter and quality chocolate with this lovely organic almond milk that I found, which is very, very expensive, but is making me very happy because it's different from the brand that I was using, which I'll go more into that a little bit later. Nothing like hot cocoa to soothe the mind, body, and soul. All right. Muscles, they help energize the body by producing electromagnetic energy and by acting as pumps to assist the action of the heart. When your muscles contract, tension is placed on the connective tissues that house your muscles, as well as on the actin and myosin proteins that cause your muscles to contract. When tension is placed on the connective tissue of the muscles, tendons, and even the skin under the muscles, an electrical current called piezoelectric current is created. Piezoelectric current is yet another form of energy that causes the body to use, form of energy that the body can use to run its systems. To experience this in your body, try this exercise. Stand up and relax for a second. Take notice of how your body feels. Once you have a sense of your body, tighten your right thigh muscle as tight as you can for 5 seconds, and then quickly relax it. Pay immediate attention to the sensation of energy, chi, surging through your body. It may run up your head and back down your other leg. It may run down your other leg and then back up your spine and head before going down one or both arms. This reaction will be different in each person, but I'm sure that you'll feel it. Contracting a muscle pushes blood out of the muscle and into the veins, helping to return used blood to the heart and lungs to be recharged. When the muscles relax, it absorbs freshly charged blood from the heart and lungs. This fresh blood contains valuable electromagnetic energy from the heart, electromagnetic work potential from the positively charged oxygen in the blood cells, hormonal energy and chemical energy, and work potential from your digested foods. Exercising the muscles for each zone, there are 6 zones that Paul Chek has identified, 1 through 6, that actually correlate with your chakras, right? So if you know your chakras from root to crown, they correlate with that. So the exercising the muscles for each zone, 1 through 6, delivers beneficial energy to the hormonal and organ systems, as well as to the tissues related to the spinal segments in that particular zone. The system is the foundation. This very system is the foundation for yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, and the zone exercises presented in this book. So I just want to show you what that looks like. When Paul Chek is referring to zones, again, it's referring to the chakras, as you can see, from root to crown. So zone 1 would be the root chakra, and then it progresses up. Chakra zone number 6 would be your crown chakra. And each one of these is innervated to particular organs in the body and particular spinal segments of the spine, right? Segments of the spine, rather, which means that if you are experiencing difficulty with your adrenals, or if you are experiencing difficulty, say, with your thyroid. Or let's take another example. If you're experiencing difficulties with breath, you should look at this chart, this diagram, which is again the foundation for Tai Chi, Qigong, and yoga, not just this book here, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy, because it will tell you a lot about what's going on with that particular chakra. You see, the things that show up for us physically oftentimes begin in the metaphysical. So if you're having a thyroid issue, a respiratory issue, an adrenal issue, you don't just want to look at that body part and address that. No, that's just the symptom. You want to look at the cause, which may mean going internally and looking at the chakra with which it's correlated with, so that you can clear that chakra out, as well as looking at the particular segment of the spine that particular issue, gland issue, hormonal issue, adrenal issue is correlated with, and address that. That is what we mean by a holistic approach. When you work with a Chak practitioner, such as myself and other Chak practitioners, we look at that whole picture. We don't just say to ourselves, oh, you clearly have adrenal fatigue, let's address your adrenals. No, if you have adrenal fatigue, I'm also going to look at the metaphysical. I'm going to see that adrenals correlate with your zone 1, which is your root chakra. And so I know that with with your root chakra, you have issues with stability and security, right? Because everything is built on the foundation. Your zone 1, which is your first chakra, is the foundation. If you're having adrenal issues, I'm not just going to address the adrenals. I'm going to ask you what's going on in your life that's making you feel like your life is not stable. Why does your foundation feel shaky to you, right? That's how we're going to address the adrenals, not just by giving you something in a capsule to address the adrenals. We're going to look deeper and get to the heart of it. That's why it's so important that you take a holistic approach, even when dealing with your movement. Finding the correct movement to address your adrenals means finding the correct movement that are going to initiate the pelvis, the leg, and the feet, because that's correlated to your root chakra, your first zone. And that will then help to also address whatever symptomology is going on in the adrenals, because what's happening in the adrenals is merely symptomology of a root cause that has not yet been identified and addressed. That's what it means to treat the cause, not the symptom, which is the complete opposite of what allopathic medicine does, unfortunately. Most times their solution is to just cut/burn whatever it is that's causing whatever symptomology you have, but not giving you the tools to heal. And if it is beyond our control, how to address the results of that stress. Yeah, I mean, if it is beyond your control, then there are things that you can do, like while overstanding the gift of acceptance, right? Removing yourself from a situation. If you can't control what's going on in your immediate environment, you have limited options, but you have options nonetheless. You either learn to accept and you go with the flow. If that goes against your core values, you might choose to remove yourself, right? To give you an example, I really disagreed with what was happening in Canada during the lockdowns, right? Part of my decision was I'm going to buy land elsewhere out of North America in order to create a situation in which I can live in and still feel that I have autonomy over my own medical choices. I still have certain liberties intact, etc. That's just to give you sort of a very broad example that may or may not relate. So I'm not stable. I have a lot of body stress. Yeah. And so maybe therapy, spiritual work, plant medicine. I am not above, I shouldn't say above. I'm very pro, I'll just say it outright. I'm very pro plant medicine that help you to also break the illusion of the matrix that we live in. So I'm going to share something with you all. Yeah, that's quite personal. I'm quite linear and very cerebral in the way that I think, which is why I have to do so many things like yoga and plant medicine to kind of help me take myself out of my mind into my body. Plant medicine helps with that. Plant medicine can be things like cannabis, that's full spectrum, but also other things like psychedelics that come from, shamans and healers, not that you're going to get around the bodega or anything like that, but, that's traditional medicine that has been used traditionally over thousands of years to help heal things like PTSD, stress, etc. All of these things, what they do is they kind of temporarily break the ego. What they're really doing is killing the ego for a minute. Yeah, mushrooms, right? Exactly. They'll kill the ego for a minute, even if it's just long enough to show you a glimpse of what life is really like, sans the ego, which is where our suffering lives. It's where it begins, it's where it ends, and when it lives. Another Czechism that Paul Czech has is, and I love this, pay attention because this is something you're going to want to meditate on. Hell and heaven live exactly in the same place, in between your two ears. So if you need help, if meditation and breath work and yoga aren't doing it for you, if Tai Chi, Qigong, and martial arts aren't doing it for you, and you need help, why do you think Mother Nature planted magic mushrooms? Why do you think Mother Nature revealed the recipe for ayahuasca? Because that's how those recipes came to be. Toad medicine, bufo, all that kind of stuff was revealed to us by Mother Nature as a way to gently nudge us towards, hey, if you're not able to get out of your head personally and get into your body and connect through the heart, here are some things that I've planted in the soil for you to help you. Yeah, you definitely don't want to create a dependency on the psychedelics and the mushrooms and the cannabis and all the rest of that, but they are there as tools. And in a responsible way, they can be utilized to help you get to where you're going, which is, again, a certain level of acceptance, or to give you the creativity to see, well, how can I remove myself from a situation that's causing me to feel unstable, unsafe, and thereby is affecting my adrenals? Does that make sense, guys? So that's how we would approach things as a holistic practitioner. I'm not going to just say to you, get on some adrenal support. No, that's not looking at the whole picture. And you are a whole individual that's spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, right? You have so many different levels to you that I have to look at you as a full being, right? Allopathic medicine, unfortunately, doesn't do that for you, which is why, again, I say allopathic medicine is useful. Absolutely. If you're about to lose life or a limb, get yourself to a doctor. Don't call me. I'm a holistic practitioner. If you're about to lose life or limb, I'm not the person you call. Get yourself a doctor, get emergency care. But for anything else that's not life or limb dependent, then please consider other options. Consider being accountable to yourself. Consider being responsible for yourself. And consider seeing yourself as more than just a symptomology. Consider this as a sign from your body and your body communicating to you that you need to make some changes, behavioral modifications. I don't recommend smoking. I recommend, me personally, I'm a big fan of RSO. It's an oil concentrate, Rick Simpson oil. And that's because, again, I was really enjoying the edibles, but I am a holistic lifestyle coach. And at some point I just had to say, do I need the chocolate? Do I need the gummies? Do I need all this extra stuff just for the sake of taking medicine? No. So I just get right to it, through a nice concentrate of cannabis. But I will tell you this, as somebody who was dependent on cannabis for several years for sleep, I get high now for the enjoyment of it. I don't get high because I'm reliant on it. I no longer need it to sleep. I've trained myself. I've sleep trained myself, not unlike infants. I've sleep trained myself again to do what my body is designed to do, which is sleep. Your body is supposed to be able to sleep, defecate, reproduce, digest food, things naturally. These are part of the autonomic nervous system, meaning that your subconscious allows for these things to happen without you even thinking about it. If it gets to a point where you're not able to do these things naturally, you're beginning to lose your health. So you have to address that with behavioral modifications. So now I no longer rely on cannabis for sleep, and I did for years. At one point, it was even prescribed that I take cannabis for sleep, for anxiety and depression. Whereas now I can say I take cannabis early in the day so that I'm not high at night before I go to bed. And I do it on the days that I have nothing to do or I've chosen to clear my calendar out. And I just make it a fun activity for myself. It's a great way to relax. It gives me great euphoria, et cetera, et cetera. I've had to stop eating before bed. That also will depend. I mean, if you're tuned into your body enough and it's telling you that, great. There are some people that actually do quite okay on eating before bed, i.e. protein types, also known as polar types. But again, part of your journey is becoming intimate enough with yourself, discovering yourself enough, being interested enough in yourself to know yourself better than you might know your sibling, your parents, your partner, your boss, making yourself truly the priority where you can say, yeah, for me, eating before bed doesn't work, or it does work. Me personally, I need to stop eating 4 hours before bed. You don't want to be waking up starving. So I'm wondering if maybe you're eating the wrong things before bed. It sounds like I shouldn't make any assumptions. You could be a protein type. You might do well on doing like a spoonful of a nut butter, a healthy, raw, preferably sprouted nut butter before bed, and maybe a dark piece of chocolate. It doesn't have to be a meal, right? If you're one of those people, try that out. For people who tend to have like sweet cravings at night, which is very common for a number of reasons. You'll get sweet cravings at night, including emotional and spiritual reasons. Also, parasites, well, they're nocturnal. So if you're getting cravings, that can also be indicative of that. But if you're a person that tends to get cravings at night, I would try just having a spoonful of a raw, preferably sprouted nut butter, also organic, and maybe accompanying that with a dark piece of chocolate, or having that nut butter, again, sprouted and raw, with maybe like, a couple of slices of apple, right? Or even an orange in its entirety if you want. Try those things and then see if you still wake up starving in the morning. But yeah, so getting back to the exercises, now you guys are understanding the benefits of working with a holistic practitioner. If you have an adrenal problem, we know that that's correlated to a particular segment in your spine, which we know is correlated to a particular chakra in the chakra points. You're very welcome, Spaceman 405. And so we're going to address the chakras, the spine, the organs that are correlated to that, not just the adrenals, which are really just telling us that you have symptomology, but are not indicative of what the actual root cause is. That's what a holistic practitioner does for you, someone that's licensed and certified who has studied those things. And that's the onus, and that's sort of your contribution to yourself, is to do those things before you say, let me run over to the doctor and get myself a prescription for, adrenal fatigue. All right, so back to the book. Zone exercises. Each system represented in your questionnaire, we provide you questionnaires when you come to work with one of us, is linked to a zone that will benefit that specific system. So you should perform one or more of the zone exercises for each of the zones. If you have multiple high zones, then you truly have an issue. So if you have quite a bit of symptomology, then you know that it's time that you address your body in a very serious way, because symptomology will just build and summate over time. The final symptomology leading to eventually decay, with the final symptomology being death. Death is a symptomology of a body that has been allowed to decay and, expire even before its time. So let's talk more about energy building exercises. To become as strong as an oak tree by doing nothing may sound crazy, but it can happen to you. If you're feeling stressed to the point that you have no desire for exercise at all, your level of vitality is likely very, very low. Famous expert Tai Chi and Qigong master Feng Ha states in his book, Yi Quan and the Nature of Energy, the fine art of doing nothing and achieving everything. Aging can be seen ultimately as a decline in life force or vitality, with death the endpoint of this decline. And since disciplines like Yi Quan, which is a standing meditation, work directly to cultivate vitality, they might well prove to be among the most valuable resources available to us as we strive for the longest, most vital lives possible. I want you not only to read the words of the great master Feng Ha, but also to use his valuable suggestions for cultivating vitality through stillness, so that we can move you into other helpful exercising, further turning the biological clock. Can your flows be blocked, and what is a block exactly? Yeah, absolutely. Flows can be blocked. Anytime you have any symptomology of any disease or ailment, that's a flow block. That's what Chinese medicine has been telling us now for thousands of years. So again, you need to do energy work, you need to do nutritional work, maybe flushing the body out, you need to do breath work. All of these things will unblock the flow of energy. And when you unblock energy and energy is flowing, not unlike water that's flowing, then it becomes fresh, right? Rejuvenated, recharged. When energy is blocked, not unlike water that is stagnant, it begins to become swampy, right? And kind of smelly and kind of icky. And that's virtually the same thing. One of the best energizing exercises I learned from Master Feng Ha is the standing meditation, Yi Quan. Chinese martial arts masters have developed amazing powers by using standing meditation as their primary form of exercise. Standing meditation is very simple to do and it doesn't require equipment. You only need your body and can perform it anywhere. So this kind of goes against what the media and everyone else is telling us, which is go get to a HIIT class, get to Orange Theory, get to Barry's boot camp, get to a power flow yoga class. No, you don't need to do all of that. We are already over flooded with cortisol because many of us live a very stressful life. Finances are tough. Civil liberties are tough. Medical autonomy is tough. A lot of toxicity from our mainstream media. Also a lot of toxicity from the telly that we consume. Indoctrination, etc. War is happening. Natural disasters. All of this stuff is very stressful. And because we have so much access to information, we can't help but take it all in, yeah? So do we need to be doing rigorous, heavy exercises? Again, it just depends on what your goal is. If you're sensitive to all the stuff that's happening, though, absolutely not. You heard it from, Paul Chek and Master Feng Ha here, that some of the strongest and most powerful exercises are in standing meditations. So standing meditation, let's talk about it. In fact, I'm going to give you the cheat codes. To begin, stand with good posture, your knees unlocked, feet about hip width and parallel to each other, and your spine lengthened to comfortably make yourself as tall as you can. I highly recommend those of you watching on the lives do this. Practice this now. Standing meditation. To achieve this position, gently draw your belly button towards your spine. Tuck your chin slightly and relax the shoulders and arms, letting the shoulders roll back slightly, not drop forward. When in the correct position to perform your standing meditation, your ear, shoulder, hip joint, knee, and ankle should all line up when viewed from the side. You should be balanced on your feet. Further, your tongue should rest on the roof of your mouth just behind your front teeth. If you swallow, it will go there automatically. Keep the tongue relaxed at all times. When in this position, you are prepared to get the most out of doing nothing, because this is the best position to allow optimal flow of life force energy called Qi or Prana. Once in the standing meditation position, you may perform the exercise of doing nothing in several ways. Let your arms hang by your side, completely relaxed. Pretend you're holding a soap bubble or a Qi bubble about the size of a basketball right in front of your lower abdomen, pelvis region. You should feel and imagine the Qi bubble being half in and half out of your body. Change the size and the location of the Qi bubble. Move it up and down the body to wherever you would like, always remembering to keep half the bubble in your body. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose or mouth. Your breathing should be deep. It should be slow. It should be rhythmic and relaxed, never forced. Just be sure that your belly expands as you breathe in, allowing your diaphragm room to drop, and then pull the air into the bottom of your lungs. As you are doing nothing, your mind will want to wander. It will try to think about the stressors of your life. Instead, try to be an observer, as though you were watching yourself from a distance. Each time your mind wanders away from this glorious chance to be quiet and do nothing, take it by the hand and bring it back to the quiet place. Master Ha teaches people to count their breaths as if they have a jumpy mind. This will give you something to focus on that is not stressful, and soon enough you will find yourself expanding, getting lighter, having deeper and more relaxed breathing, and feeling energized. If your body gets tired of standing whilst doing nothing, you can meditation, yet continue to stay aligned as before. When you feel rested, stand up again. Try to work yourself up to 30 minutes a day of doing nothing. An hour a day is even better. Most people find that after doing this exercise for 100 hours over an extended period of time, there are some pleasurable and very noticeable changes in the body. Some of the changes people experience are the following: improved sense of awareness, improved mental clarity, improved energy, improved athletic ability, disappearance of chronic ailments, bing, 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 tighter and more youthful looking skin, brighter eyes, an increased ability to sense other people's feelings and thoughts. Why do you shake? When you do nothing correctly, your body will increase its chi reserves. Chi is life force energy, and that energy contains all of the wisdom and knowledge in the universe. As your body collects the chi, it will find areas where you have blockages and then send that chi to flow and release the blockages. You'll feel this by shaking in your body. It may be a leg, it might be your lower back, your shoulder, or your arm. Don't let this scare you. It means your body is healing. It's getting stronger and more complete so your soul can express itself through a more perfect body. What greater reward could you ever expect from the art of doing nothing? Also known as, in Italian, dolce far niente. Walking meditations. A walking meditation is simply taking time out for yourself to get away from people and phones and to break free from the stresses of everyday life, to listen to your soul. As you walk, time your breath to your steps. For example, inhale for 4 steps, hold your breath naturally for 1 step, and then exhale for 4 steps. Adjust your effort so that you don't have to keep changing your breathing. It is a good idea to simply count your steps, emptying your mind of all things other than the step count, and breathing until you've mastered the process and it becomes natural. A walking meditation should be no less than 15 minutes. It is best to walk in nature where you can benefit from the natural earth energies, experience a variety of colors, and appreciate life forms moving in their natural rhythm. Slow walking. Another great exercise I learned from Master Fong. Slow walking is performed with the same consciousness described above for walking meditation, yet the goal is to walk as slowly as possible. As you perform slow walking, the key is to always be moving, but moving very, very slowly, like a cat sneaking up on a bird, yet staying very relaxed. With slow walking, you should stay very much in touch with the now and the moment. The slower you go, the more chi flow you will create and the better your balance will become. If you are an athletic person and want to take slow walking to another level of challenge, try slow walking across a park or reliable surface with your eyes closed. Slow walking can be very effective when performed for as little as 10 minutes at a time. And just like that, you've been given the codes, fam. Walking is a man's best medicine, also by Hippocrates. Many wise quotes Hippocrates has given us. So hopefully you can take that today. I've given you the cheat codes. I've given you the codes to restore your health and wellness, your youth. I've also given you the cheat codes for reversing chronic illness and to restore mental clarity. Now you have all of the codes. The question is, will you choose the tools which I have provided you with and actually use them for your benefit? My hope is that you will. All right, so I'm going to sign off for today. We'll see each other again next week. Remember, please, to breathe well, be well, stay well. Also, get free and stay free. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for participating. I appreciate the comments, especially on Instagram, YouTube. I'll be checking to see if you have any questions for me. Until next time, bye.